There's a special kind of silence that lives inside a lie. For 5 years, I lived in that silence. I held the deeds to their dreams, and they never even knew my name, the Caldwell family reunion. An annual ritual of champagne and subtle knives. I was always a ghost at that feast. Me, Alara, and my little brother, Leo. We were the practical ones. The ones who were still finding our feet. And there was Uncle Arthur, holding court at the head of the table, a projector glowing behind him like a holy relic. A map of the world, dotted with our family's crown jewels. The Tuscan villa where Vanessa got engaged. The Malibu beach house where Blake held his infamous parties. Each one a brick in the wall of our so-called legacy. He called it the distribution. His grand gesture of passing the torch. He had documents. Official-looking papers with fake seals that he handed out like candy. He gave Vanessa the villa, Blake the beach house. Their faces, God, their faces were like children on Christmas morning, tearing open a present that was never, ever theirs, and then, the names stopped. The room got quiet. Leo, brave Leo, his voice barely a whisper, asked, "What about Alara and me?" Uncle Arthur's smile didn't even falter. It was a smile that could freeze fire. "Alara," he said, and the way he said my name was like placing me in a small, dusty box. "You work from home on that little computer. And Leo is still in school. These properties, they require a certain stature." Then came the laughter. My cousin Chloe, her voice like shattering glass. "Can you imagine Alara in Italy? She'd probably fill a villa with Wi-Fi routers." The whole table erupted. I just sat there. I remember the feel of the cheap polyester chair under my fingers. The smell of chlorine from the pool outside. The taste of my own silence, and that's when the silence inside me broke. I stood up. The room went quiet again, but this was a different quiet. This was the quiet before the avalanche. "Uncle Arthur," I said. My voice didn't shake. "I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding." The doors to the conference room opened. And in walked my world. Catherine, my head of holdings, a storm in a pantsuit. And behind her, my lawyers, James, Maria, and David. The 3 most expensive problem solvers on 3 different continents. "This," Catherine said, her voice cutting through the air-conditioned air, "is a cease and desist for the fraudulent distribution of assets you do not own." You should have seen their faces. It was a car crash in slow motion. James, my international counsel, laid it out. The Tuscan villa? Sold at foreclosure in 2019. Purchased by MCM Holdings for €2.1 million. The Malibu house? Also sold. Purchased by MCM. The Aspen cabin, the Singapore penthouse, all of them. Every single property you just gave away was lost by Arthur due to gross financial mismanagement 5 years ago. Vanessa was white. Who is MCM Holdings? I let the question hang in the air for a moment. "A poisonous little cloud, Morrison Caldwell Matthews," I said. "My company." The sound that left Uncle Arthur's mouth was hollow. Like a bell that had cracked. He sank into a chair. I looked at my cousins, the designers, the entertainers, the financiers. "The ones with stature, for 5 years," I said, my voice low. "You've been vacationing in my homes. Sleeping in my beds. You were never owners. You were my guests. And you were terrible guests." Catherine handed out the new documents. Not gifts. Rental agreements. Market rate. The Tuscany villa? $4,500 a week. The Malibu house? More than their car payments. The begging started. The excuses. But I told all my friends. Chloe wailed that I felt nothing. Nothing but the cool, solid weight of the truth. I hadn't planned this. I'd bought those properties to save them, to preserve the memories I thought we shared. But when Arthur tried to give them away, he wasn't preserving a legacy. He was auctioning off my life's work to pay for his own ego. They thought establishment was about the car you drove, the parties you threw, the noise you made. I drive a 10-year-old Subaru. I live in a quiet apartment. I built an empire in the silence they gave me. And in the end, the paperwork doesn't lie. The deeds are in my name, they wanted to distribute a legacy. They just never realized it was mine, every single brick. Every single door. Every single dream. They're all mine.